Have you ever been looked at as if you were nothing to fear, nothing to respect, nothing at all? It happens quietly. A glance, a smirk, a conversation you were never invited into. They think your silence means weakness. They think your calm means surrender. But what if that quiet is your greatest weapon? What if true strength doesn't need to shout, doesn't need to defend, doesn't need to fight at all? In this video, we will explore how the Stoic mind turns doubt into fuel and wins in a way no one sees coming. Stay with me, because the moment you stop reacting and start rising, everything changes. Number 1, let them underestimate you. There is no advantage more quietly powerful than being underestimated. When others look at you and decide you are too quiet, too soft, too passive to be a threat, they do not insult you. They hand you control. They expose their blind side. In their eagerness to dismiss you, they let their guard down. And that is when the Stoic begins to move. Not with anger, not with noise, but with intent. The Stoic does not rush to correct misjudgments. He does not argue to defend his worth. He does not waste breath proving himself to people who have already decided not to listen. Instead, he remains still and focused, allowing the illusion others build around him to grow undisturbed. He understands that illusions are fragile things. They do not need to be destroyed. They collapse on their own when reality arrives. Imagine a soldier underestimated by the enemy. The opposition relaxes, assuming the battle is already won. Their formation is loose. Their attention is scattered. But the quiet soldier has not stopped training. He has not stopped watching, and when the moment comes, he does not need to announce himself. He strikes once with precision. He does not fight the way they expected, because he does not play the game they assumed. His greatest move was never the blow. It was his silence, his restraint, his invisibility. That is the strength of the Stoic. When you let people create their own illusion of superiority, you gain space, you gain time, and, most importantly, you gain insight. They reveal how they think, how they act when they believe they are untouchable. You learn who they are behind the performance, while they know nothing about who you truly are. They build their strategy around a false version of you, and by the time they realize they were wrong, it is too late. Do not rush to prove them wrong. Do not burn your energy shouting at the blind. The people who see you as weak will show you who they are much faster than you could ever explain who you are. Let them think they are winning. Let them feel superior. Their confidence will betray them. Their arrogance will blind them. And when they finally see what you are becoming in the silence, they will not be ready for it. Your strength is not proven in argument. It is revealed in patience, in focus, in the quiet transformation they never saw coming. That is how you win without raising your voice. That is how you win without fighting. And when the moment arrives, you do not just win, you win twice. Once in the victory itself, and once in the shock of those who never believed you could rise. Let them underestimate you. It is the greatest weapon you will ever be given. Use it wisely, and when you are ready, rise without warning, quiet, calm, complete. Number 2, master power through silence. In a world that demands constant noise, silence is often mistaken for weakness, but the Stoic understands something far deeper. Silence is not the absence of strength, it is the control of it. It is not retreat, it is positioning. When you choose not to react, not to explain, not to defend, you are not surrendering, you are calculating, you are reserving your energy for where it actually matters. The modern world trains us to over-communicate. We are taught that to be seen, we must speak. To be respected, we must argue. To be valued, we must constantly prove. But the truth is the opposite. The more you say, the more you reveal, and the more you reveal, the more they can use against you. Silence is not empty, it is full of intention. When you say nothing, You give them nothing to attack, nothing to distort, nothing to anticipate. Think of a master chess player. He does not announce every move. He does not explain why he waits. He simply observes, studies, and plays only when the moment is right. That is what silence gives you. It grants you the element of surprise. It builds an atmosphere of mystery, and mystery, in the eyes of the reactive, is power. People are uncomfortable with those they cannot read. When you do not react, they begin to imagine your reaction. They project fear. They invent strengths. And, in their confusion, they hand you influence without even realizing it. I once witnessed a man in a heated meeting accused unfairly of something he did not do. While others would have erupted in protest, he remained calm, still, and silent. The room grew tense. People expected outrage, but instead they saw control. He spoke only once, and only to state one fact. No defense, no excuse. And in that one moment, the energy of the room shifted. His silence had not weakened him, it had amplified him. He became the only voice people remembered. Silence, when used with intention, becomes a statement stronger than words. It says, I do not need to perform for you. I do not owe you my reaction. I am not moved by your chaos. This is not weakness. It is discipline. It is emotional sovereignty. And in that stillness, the Stoic finds clarity. He does not react to prove something. He waits to understand everything. You must learn to use silence the way a sculptor uses space. Every pause, every withheld word, carves presence. Every moment of stillness reminds the world that you are not desperate to be heard, because you are certain of who you are. When others rush to speak, defend, or justify, let them. Their noise reveals insecurity. Your calm reveals power. In the end, it is not the loudest who win. It is those who know when to speak and when to remain still. Those who move with clarity, not impulse. Those who understand that in a world addicted to noise, silence is rare, and what is rare becomes valuable. So do not fear silence. Embrace it. Let it protect you. Let it position you. And when the time comes to speak, let your words be sharp, clear, and few. Because when silence precedes your voice, people listen, not because you demanded it, but because your silence made it impossible to ignore. That is strategic control. That is Stoic power in its purest form. Number 3, respond only to purpose. Every insult is bait, and every provocation is a carefully crafted trap. It is never just about what is said, it is about how they want you to react. In moments like this, your emotional energy becomes the battlefield, and the one who loses control loses the war. But the Stoic understands a deeper truth. You are not obligated to attend every argument you are invited to. You are not required to respond just because someone demands your attention. The wise do not react to noise. They listen for signal. When someone seeks to provoke you, their goal is not truth, it is disruption. They are not searching for understanding, they are searching for chaos. And if you allow yourself to be pulled into that chaos, then you have already handed them the victory they never deserved. There is no honor in reacting just to defend your pride. There is no strength in answering every challenge. The Stoic knows that responding without purpose is simply another form of submission. Let me give you an example. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest emperors and Stoic philosophers, faced constant political manipulation and public slander. Lesser men would have fought back in rage, trying to clear their name or destroy their enemies. But Marcus did not respond to every insult. Instead, he asked himself, does this affect my character or only their opinion? And then he moved on. He allowed his actions, his discipline, and his legacy to speak in a language far louder than anger ever could. This is the power of restraint. it does not mean weakness. It means you have chosen clarity over conflict. When someone insults you in public or attempts to shame you in a group, your silence is not surrender, it is strength. Your stillness forces them to wrestle with their own aggression. They expected a battle. Instead, they are left confronting their own noise. The truth is, most provocations come from people who are battling themselves. Their chaos spills outward, hoping to infect others. But you do not have to absorb that poison. You do not have to mirror their disorder. The Stoic path teaches us to hold our position, to evaluate whether this moment deserves a reaction or if it is simply another test. Not every battle is worthy of your presence. Some are designed to pull you off course, to distract you from your mission, to shake your emotional foundation. So the next time someone pushes your buttons, pause. Do not flinch. Do not speak too soon. Ask yourself, will this reaction bring me closer to who I want to become? Will it serve my values or simply satisfy a fleeting sense of pride? If the answer is no, then walk away, not in fear, but in focus. Let your purpose be your reply. Let your clarity be your counterattack. You are not here to win arguments. You are here to win freedom from the opinions of others. And in that space of discipline, you rise above the noise. You reclaim your power, not by shouting louder, but by choosing silence with intention. Only the insecure respond to everything. The wise preserve their energy. And when they do act, they act with precision. That is the way of the Stoic. To move with meaning. To answer only when the answer has weight, and to never confuse provocation with purpose, because in the end, you do not owe anyone your reaction. You owe yourself your peace. Number 4, let results speak for you. In a world that rewards noise, it is tempting to defend yourself every time someone questions your strength or doubts your worth. But the Stoic path teaches something far more enduring. Words fade, results endure. When others assume you are weak, when they whisper about your limits or speak boldly about your failure, let them. Let them write their version of your story while you remain still and write your own in silence. Do not waste your breath trying to convince those who have already made up their minds. Instead, let your actions become your response, and your outcome the undeniable proof. There is something unshakable about a person who refuses to be baited into defense. Imagine the blacksmith. He does not talk about the blade he is forging. He hammers in rhythm. He focuses in silence. And when the weapon is ready, it needs no explanation. It simply cuts. The Stoic lives by that same law. While others speak, he builds. While others perform, he prepares. And when the moment arrives, his work speaks louder than any rebuttal. Think of someone like Nelson Mandela. For years, he was painted as a criminal, held in prison, spoken of with contempt. He did not have the platform to defend himself publicly. He did not respond with anger. Instead, he cultivated vision, built strength, and prepared his character. And when the time came, he emerged not as a man broken by judgment, but as a leader formed by restraint. His results were not just political change. His results were in the quiet authority of his presence. He did not argue for his greatness. He lived it, and history remembered. This is what Stoicism invites you to embody. Stop arguing with people whose minds are set on misunderstanding you. Stop proving your worth to those who are only watching to see you fall. Instead, let the seeds you plant today grow into the forest they never believed you could build. The strength of your future is being formed right now in the silence they mock, while they laugh. Keep working while they speak your name in arrogance. Hold your tongue and stay in motion. You do not need applause. You do not need approval. You do not even need recognition. Because the moment you rise, the moment you arrive at the result you were working toward, everything they said vanishes. Their doubts will dissolve in the face of your undeniable truth. And that is the purest form of victory, not one born out of revenge, but one rooted in discipline and unwavering focus. You win not by proving who you are with words, but by becoming someone whose results make every word irrelevant. You win not because they changed their minds, but because they no longer matter. What matters is the work. What matters is the quiet mastery of your craft, your character, your mission, and when it comes together, when the moment arrives. Let your success speak for you. Not in a shout, but in a presence that cannot be ignored. So remember this: when they talk, you build; when they doubt, you move; and when your moment comes, you will not have to explain anything. You will simply arrive, and the silence will be enough. Let your results speak, and let the rest disappear. That is how you outsmart them. That is how you win twice. Number 5. Use their ego against them. Nothing clouds judgment more than ego. The moment a person believes they have figured you out, that is the moment they become most vulnerable. They stop observing, they start assuming, and in that assumption, they leave open the very space you need to rise unnoticed. The Stoic sees this not as a moment to confront, but as a moment to prepare. You do not need to argue with those who feel superior. You do not need to alert them to your presence. You simply let their pride do the work for you. When someone becomes overconfident, they reveal more than they protect. They start talking more than they listen. They move faster than they think, and they underestimate anyone who does not match their noise. But your silence is not weakness. It is concealment. Your calm is not retreat. It is positioning. The Stoic knows that to be underestimated by the proud is to be given a gift. Their arrogance becomes your cloak. Their certainty becomes your cover. Think of the story of David and Goliath. Goliath laughed at David. He looked at him and saw a boy with no armor, no strength, no chance. His ego told him this would be easy, that there was no real threat, and that illusion became his downfall. David did not try to match Goliath's power. He used clarity, precision, and stillness. He moved in the shadow of Goliath's ego and struck once with perfect aim. That was not luck. That was the power of someone who understood the trap that pride creates. You do not need to provoke those who think they are better than you. You only need to watch. Let them make assumptions. Let them lower their guard. Let them write you off. While they play loudly, you prepare quietly. While they expose their hand, you build your advantage. And when the moment comes, you act with such clarity that there is no need for drama, no need for explanation. The trap has already been set, and they walked into it willingly, led by their own ego. This is not manipulation. This is mastery of perception. It is the art of letting others reveal themselves while you remain intact. The Stoic does not deceive. He observes. He allows others to deceive themselves. And in that waiting, in that quiet calculation, he finds his greatest strength. You're not hiding. You're studying. You're not avoiding. You are aligning. There will always be people who talk too much, who assume too much, who brag too early. Let them. The louder they become, the easier they are to see. The more they underestimate you, the more room they give you to move in silence. Their ego builds the illusion. Your discipline waits patiently. And in the end, the illusion collapses not because you attacked it, but because it was never built on truth. So use their ego as the trap. Let them think they are always one step ahead, and never interrupt their mistake. Because when your moment arrives, you will not need to raise your voice. You will not need to seek revenge. You will simply move forward with precision, and the silence that follows will be louder than any victory song. That is not just outsmarting your opponent. That is mastery of yourself. That is the Stoic way. Number 6. Earn respect without asking. True respect cannot be demanded with loud voices or forced through confrontation. It is not something you chase, it is something you attract. And the Stoic understands this with unwavering clarity. Respect is earned quietly, in the way you move without needing attention, in the way you act without needing recognition, and in the way you carry yourself when no one is watching. The more you try to prove your importance to others, the more you lose your center. The moment you beg for validation, you hand your power to the very people who doubted you. A Stoic does not seek to be seen. He becomes someone who cannot be ignored. His words are measured. His presence is firm. He does not fight to be respected. He simply moves in alignment with his principles, and respect becomes the natural consequence of his discipline. You must learn to let your actions shape your reputation, not your arguments. You must become someone who does not speak of strength, but lives it so clearly that others have no choice but to recognize it. Consider the example of Keanu Reeves. For decades, he has walked through fame and media noise with calm humility. He is not the loudest voice in Hollywood. He does not chase approval or place himself in the spotlight unnecessarily. Yet when people speak of dignity, of integrity, of quiet strength, his name often comes up. Why? Because his actions have spoken far more than any performance ever could. He helps people silently. He shows up on time. He listens more than he talks. And slowly, consistently, the world has come to respect him not because he demanded it, but because his presence made it impossible not to. In your own life, do not waste time explaining who you are. Let them underestimate you. Let them doubt you. Let them talk. While they speak, you build. While they watch, you improve. And when your moment arrives, let your calm presence speak louder than their noise. You do not need to silence others to be heard. You only need to remain so deeply rooted in your values that their voices fade on their own. People respect those who do not need respect, to act with purpose. People are drawn to those who do not chase applause, because it suggests they already know who they are. Your calm will confuse those who expected rage. Your consistency will outlast their assumptions, and your discipline will rewrite every false judgment they made about you. At the end of the day, you do not need to defeat their doubt. You only need to make it irrelevant. And the most powerful way to do that is to walk with clarity. Live with restraint. And let your character do what your words never could. That is how you command respect without ever demanding it. That is how the Stoic wins. Quietly, completely, without compromise. Number 7, win without the fight. There is a rare kind of victory that belongs only to the disciplined. It is not loud. It is not dramatic. It comes when you do not fight the way they expected, and yet you walk away with everything they never thought you could earn. The first win is in restraint. The second is in revelation. The moment they realize they were wrong about you is when they begin to lose, not just in the conflict, but in their perception of themselves. Because in mocking you, they exposed their arrogance. In dismissing you, they revealed their blindness, and you did not meet their insults with resistance. You met it with stillness. The Stoic chooses this path. He understands that not every battle is worth entering. He knows that silence can be sharper than any reply, and that dignity always outlasts aggression. You win the moment you do not react, and you win again when your presence forces them to confront their misjudgment. They thought you were weak because you were calm. They assumed you were lost because you were silent. But while they were busy watching your absence of noise, they missed your quiet ascent. Take the example of Muhammad Ali. Before his rise, many underestimated him. His unorthodox style was mocked. His silence outside the ring was misunderstood. But Ali waited. He trained. He endured public ridicule without needing to strike back. And when the moment came, when he stood in the ring against those who had dismissed him, he did not just fight. He revealed a level of discipline, control, and clarity that silenced every critic. He did not need to shame them with words. His victory did it for him. That is the Stoic way. Let them grow cocky. Let them write you off. Let them assume they are 10 steps ahead. While they mock, you watch. While they boast, you prepare. And when the right moment arrives, you do not announce your move. You do not warn them. You act. You execute. And in that moment, all their noise collapses, not because you crushed them through confrontation, but because you allowed them to build their illusion and watched as it crumbled on its own. The second victory is not in the outcome itself. It is in what they feel afterward. The silence that surrounds your rise becomes unbearable to them. The realization that they misjudged you becomes their own defeat, and you walk forward without ever raising your voice, without needing to gloat, without a trace of bitterness. You win in their eyes, and more importantly, you win within yourself. So when someone doubts you, when they try to provoke you into a fight to prove your worth, step back, let them talk, let them laugh, and in the stillness of your self-control, begin building, begin preparing, and when you are ready, let your success appear with such quiet strength that the world has no choice but to notice. That is how you win twice, once in the silence, and once in the regret that follows. That is how you rise with dignity and walk away undefeated. They saw your silence and thought it meant weakness. They mistook your calm for surrender, but now they are beginning to understand. True strength never asks for attention. It grows in silence, moves with intention, and reveals itself when the time is right. If you have ever been doubted, dismissed, or misunderstood, remember this. You are not here to fight for validation. You are here to rise without asking, to win without reacting, and to stand in a power that speaks louder than any defense ever could. If this message spoke to a quiet strength within you, take a moment to subscribe, not out of impulse, but because you are ready to keep growing with clarity and purpose. And if any part of this video reminded you of a moment where you held your ground and won quietly, share it below. Just say, "Held my ground." You never know who might need that story today. Your journey is not measured by the noise you make, but by the peace you protect. Stay steady, stay quiet. And when the time is right, move with precision. The next video will take this even deeper. Until then, keep your strength sacred and your silence strategic. You are stronger than they think, and that is your greatest advantage.